Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Folklor America show. This is episode, I think we're on 5 or 6, and today we're interviewing Susana. Hey, Susana, how you doing?
Hey, Daniel. How are you this afternoon? And coming back from a wonderful, this is January 2nd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're
New Year.
New Year, New Year, new me, new things to do.
New
Yeah.
things to do. And that you find every year when you come back to it.
But what was it? What were we talking about?
We talked about a lot of things. And
Oh, let's talk about the three, because you educated me, because I didn't know about the three different folklorico groups, and you said the 70s or the 80s? The 80s.
actually, back in the 80s, as you know, and as I mentioned, I was part of Floricanto Dance Theater at that point in time, now Danza Floricanto USA. Gemma Sandoval was the director at the time, or is the director, still in existence. At the time, Benjamin Hernandez also had Mexicapan. Benjamin Hernandez taught at East Los Angeles College, and that's where he had Mexicapan. And then Lupeños, which is still in San Jose, California. We're still one of the big major groups at the time. Initiating Floricanto was Juanita Lopez, Frank Sandoval, Gemma Sandoval. Benjamin Hernandez was with Patricia, was his wife at the time, and Benjamin. And then I know that prior to that was, oh my gosh, I'm gonna throw a blank right now. See now, it's age. Oh my goodness, I just draw a blank with his name. I'll come back to it.
But Benjamin is in
anyways.
Mexico right now, right? He's teaching at the university, or where is he teaching? Is he teaching anywhere else?
I don't know. I know he was visiting, but I don't know if he was teaching over there.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure of. Why will I say that? But Benjamin obviously started here. So at the time, back in the 80s, when we did that, also, it's around the time when Plaza de la Raza started the School of Performing and Visual Arts. So we were all part of the first grouping to start that, which is now they're 50 years, which is incredible as well. So yeah, I didn't know. You said that you didn't know about that.
No, I didn't. Like, you told me all this. Like, you just told me about like Floricanto, and then told me about Benjamin and Ilac and all the other stuff, and I was like, what? Like, I didn't know anything.
Yeah. Folklorico goes back a lot. I know that there's still a lot of things in the Los Angeles area, or a lot of folklorico groups that aren't aware a lot of the history that was involved. I did mention at the time, and I was showing you, was the project that we did in 1991 with Rafael Samarripa and Floricanto, which actually was a focus on, it was the Olympics at the time. So Epopeya Mestiza was obviously the story that, I don't want to say, maybe it's a bad term to say that we were the guinea pigs for Rafael at the time before he started at the University of Colima. But we were the first inceptions of doing like his Perro de Fuego and his curros, like he calls it now, and which I have video of it as well. When we did all the polka, and basically it was a story from the pre-Hispanic period all the way through till it ended up in, we did this mural, Diego Rivera, and with the picture that you see is the ending part where it's with the calavera and then with Frida Kahlo and so on. And that was a year project. And talking about, which is very funny now, I know that there are not many groups that can handle a 4 or 5 hour rehearsal. This only happens at workshops, so to speak.
4 or 5 hour rehearsals, like
on a daily basis.
Oh, wow.
For a whole year.
Where was that at?
That was there at Plaza. When we got ready for this project.
4 to 5 every single time. So it was basically a part-time job every day.
Literally a part-time job every day.
That's the only way you're going to get good, honestly, doing it every day.
And we would do that every day, and then when the weekend came around, we would be there for 8 hours. 8 hours. And I'm talking about, I can see sometimes their posts, which is very, very important to have the theatrical, the ballet, the modern jazz, all of that training, because it's important. It's very important. Stamina is important. Even nowadays, these kids, I know that there's some kids that do sports that even if they come into the dance world, they would never be able to handle it because of stamina. I have students that are runners, that play basketball, that do different sports, and it's a whole different conditioning process that has to come into it that they can't even handle it half of the time. And in my mentality, or the things that I've seen, when they're doing the rehearsals, even if they've had their training, they're still huffing and puffing half of the time. There was one idea that came across that was very interesting. You know, we run or we start warming up and XYZ before we go on stage. But that never happens. We go from 0 to 60 immediately. Half of them don't even think about warming up. These people that have had training, they're cautious of it. They know it. They know that they have to warm up. And if they have the time, or they make time to do the warm up before they go on stage. Half of our kids don't.
They're all young. They're all kids. That's the thing. Because I know two of my dancers just learned not to eat before a show. And that just led on, because you can't tell people what to do, but you can recommend. And I remember he's like, man, I'm hungry. I'm like, go get like a small nutrition bar. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I wouldn't recommend eating. And he's like, no, I think I'll be fine. I'll be like, bro, you're gonna throw up. Like you're 24. You're not 14.
Right.
Which doesn't sound like he's young, but he's not young anymore. No. It just changes, especially from 24 to I'm 28 now, and like, oh man, I don't eat 4 hours before. Like I rest. I do warm up. I created like my specific. I call it my folklorico, like to get more power out of your steps.
Absolutely.
Because they'll be like, I'll talk about because they're like, man, how do you hit so hard? I'm not hitting. I just have muscle because I cycle every day. Right. You got to cycle, do jump rope, run, and then if you want faster footwork, I use a lot of soccer drills. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just to move your feet around to do things, to manipulate it, and then tons of yoga. If you don't do yoga, you're going to be crippled. Yeah, first thing to go.
You know, I can say I'm very blessed at 57, and that I still don't have knee problems. Maybe a little bit with my heels, I can start feeling it. But I was very lucky at that because I'm very precise, especially with my hearing, and precise with my footwork. That has always been a pet peeve for me with clean footwork. But if you don't do things the right way, it's gonna catch up. There's a lot of people that early on stages with their knee problems, back problems. I mean, I've had back surgery, but that had nothing to do with the dancing. They told me that you know what it came from? I shouldn't say it didn't come from dancing. It's from carrying the costumes. Mm. It was carrying the costumes at that point in time. So you know how we always hook things and put them over, or the bags and so on? That's where it came from. But it wasn't the per se dancing per se.
That's the reason I bought one of these dumbwaiter things. I bought this specifically because I was just lugging, because I tried providing
garment racks. You don't see it, but it's garment racks.
Garment racks. I providing all the costumes for the dancers, and I'm just carrying a bunch of crap. And I was like, you know what? I need one of these. I ain't doing this. This is dumb. I got 2 kids.
No, I mean, and that's another thing you learn with time. We as folklorico directors want to give everybody the opportunity to come into our world and experience what we experience. So a lot of reality, because we're not millionaires. I see, and I don't want to offend anybody. I wish I was one of those directors that are posting pictures that are out traveling the world, um, which I still haven't done today. And I've had my studio already for 6 years already, I want to say. I don't see any money coming out from it. Okay. It's a tough business because not so much that there's a competition. It's about you can never please everybody. Okay. Yes. What's the new and upcoming? And it's like everything. It's like, what are you going to give them? So yes, going back to, I'll give them the costumes. Yeah, I'll lend them the shoes, and I'll lend them this, and I'll lend them that, and in the long run, sometimes the appreciation part about it is where they get up and they leave. And you've extended yourself for them. And they turn around and say, oh, goodbye. Let me go somewhere else. And then you find out that they end up paying more. They end up buying their costumes. So there's a lot of things that you have to learn early on in regards to that. I'm still, and I don't know if you recognize, I still have costumes from when IDDM started back in 2004, 5.
It started that long ago, 2004, 5?
I say 2006 because that's when it really, really started. But way before that, we did the $1 Million Theater, the opening. We did that in 2006. But in 2004, we did the LA County Fair. That's when you did the roping thing.
Oh, that was in 2004? That's crazy because I still have the video.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's your video that you gave me.
Yeah.
It probably is.
Yeah.
Well, I remember I got so much shit at school because all my friends are there. And they're just, you call me the rope master. Yeah. And you just hear my friends go, oh, some rope master. Oh, so for a month, it's all jokes.
Yeah, it's all
I didn't care. Stuff. I was blessed with the ability of just not caring.
Good.
About when people said stuff.
And that's important.
It was more about, I had more fear of doing new things than I did about what people said about me. Because I would always feel like, man, I'm going to look stupid if I do something new. Now I'm just like, what? Just be the first one to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. And see, and I think going back with that, a lot of students, and we need to instill that in them, and which I try to do every time they come across my path, is for them to take their self, to take their motivation, to take their whatever anybody else thinks out there, what they love to do. What is it doing for them? And incredibly enough, those kids back in 2006 that I had that are now college graduates come back and say, you know what? Because if it wasn't because of that, I wouldn't have done this. Or I wouldn't have not had the motivation to move forward. And it's like I sit back and I see them and I'm like, good. That was the purpose. And still to date, I have a lot of feel-good stories in regards to, especially boys. One I had that, again, he lives in the projects and is struggling where he's at, struggling with life, daily basis, in being constantly approached about doing stuff that he's caught in the middle, and says that every time he comes here, this is where his safe zone, and he knows that this is what he can do the best of. And he's an excellent dancer. Amazing transformation in 2 years. Another kid, also, they're still in school. Again, still struggling with the whole, with his friends and what they want him to do. And he goes back and forth. And it's this one thing that we come together that he knows he can do it well and where he expresses himself well on stage. So if anything, I may not have a cast of thousands right now when I did, but I know it's the ones that truly wholeheartedly love to do what they do. Like I said, it's been a lot of, it's not the kids. It's never the kids. It's never the kids. And in my experience, and like I had mentioned to you, because I can firmly say that when I was at the Arte Flamenco Dance Studio, I was the one that started the 3-year-olds. I did it. Mm-hmm. Because
Arte Flamenco, was that in Alhambra?
That was
when we were in Alhambra.
That was when we were in Alhambra. When I started that back in that was in 2000, about 2000, 2001 when I first started those classes. And she said, "That's a babysitting class. What are you going to do teaching 4 and 5-year-olds?" I said,
"Oh, they learn the best out of everybody."
Thank you very much. That was one. Yeah. They learned the best. And then you look at the business part about it. Mm-hmm. Okay. But I told her that's when they absorb it. So I went like from 1 student to 5 students to 10 students. I did 35 and 45 students at the time. And they used to perform at the park that was there at the time. And then that's how it kind of transitioned into that, mm-hmm. into when we were there. When you came in on board after the fact, when IDDM started.
Yeah, I think Chilo told me to come. Chilo told me to come to the group.
Yeah, I think Jessica, no, you knew Jessica at the time. No, Jessica wasn't even there.
No,
right.
It was,
Jessica came in afterwards.
Where was I? I always forget how I end up places because people just tell me to come.
Right.
But I think I had met Pia somehow. Or I don't even know how I met Pia and Jessica. Or I think Jessica introduced me to Pia and Chilo because of Casa Sanchez, because they asked if they had a boy. And then from there, it was, I don't know how I ended up at your place.
I can't even.
But I remember I did end up because I'm pretty sure it was Chilo that told me. I'm 90% sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe.
Because he was dancing with you at that time too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the time it was, I had Chilo, Carelli.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Carelli danced with you too?
Oh, yeah. Carelli was part of IDDM very early on. Mm-hmm. Remember Fego?
Fego.
El Fego.
I think so.
Older
yeah.
Gentleman.
There was quite a few guys. I remember Danny. Danny wasn't out there.
Danny was there. I have videos also of the $1 million thing, but I don't know. Mm-hmm. You weren't part of that.
No, I think I was only with you for a year. If that?
Around there.
A year or 2?
Yeah.
Which is my lifespan for a group, not to lie.
Yeah, right.
I never survived more than 2 years in a folklorico group, other than when I started. And I think Rosemary. I was with Rosemary for like 3 years. 3 years, I want to say. Yeah. I was dancing with her, and then I just can't. I couldn't. I got bored. It just like I had no patience. Like my focus was growth. It was always growth and getting better and learning. Uh-huh. And then once I felt like I was strong enough, it was like, okay, what can I learn from here? What can I learn from here? What can I learn from here? Mm-hmm. Maybe the ADHD. I don't know. Especially when you do choreographies. Everybody's to this day, I hate doing my own group's choreographies. Like, sorry guys, I just don't like choreographies.
You know, and for me, it's like the easiest thing. It's just like, it doesn't. Mm-hmm. I used to first deal with the whole square and X and the whole putting it on paper. But after a while, I was like, why?
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I don't mind. The creativity part of it's easy. It's the repetition of doing it over and over the same way, which drives me nuts.
You know what I learned from that? And again, I see it like with groups that have, well, let me go back. The problem with me or the problem with the group that I have when I teach them the choreographies. There's certain choreographies that I can keep them as is.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the rotation of so many kids that come through, is that other than teaching them that choreography, sometimes, and which is the other thing, depending on how many members you have all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't always have 8 members or 8 couples or 4 couples or 6 couples. And so you have to kind of conform it to those choreographies as a visual, because the same choreography will not work.
Mm-hmm.
An 8 couple choreography sometimes doesn't work for a 2 or a 3, and you have to make it visually appealing
Mm-hmm.
for it to work. So that's one thing that I've learned, is that you can't keep the same choreography all the time.
No, that's true. Yeah, we adjust. There's for one of them, there's 3, we do a diagonal. If there's 4, we do this. And I'm like, okay, we run the diagonal choreography. We do this, you do that,
Right.
and like I get the adjustments. And then now, like for I think what I'm gonna do for Veracruz, have you seen the walking? It's a Russian dance. They walk and they look like they're floating. It's insane.
Yes.
I'm literally gonna incorporate that for Bruja. We'll probably start teaching it this summer,
Mm-hmm.
and just have There's a version of La Bruja where it's like sounds like witches.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard it?
Yeah.
You've heard that one.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is to have them float on those moments and then do traditional folklorico there, and I think it'll look awesome. Because if they really are witches, they should look like witches. Right? Like they should. If you see somebody dancing normal and then they start floating, you're like, what the hell? Like it sells you the idea.
It's a different idea. Yes.
And that's what I started doing, because I noticed I'll watch folklorico videos to get ideas and create something. And you're just like, it's all the same thing. Everybody's learning from everybody.
But you know why? And this is why I was telling you.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why everything sometimes looks the same is because of tradition.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important to keep your cultural and the traditions respectively respected.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to go off on a tangent.
Oh, I'm going on so many tangents.
Yeah, but you have to be careful. And in all honesty and respectedly, you have to be careful. Because folklorico came from a tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I used to have my difficulties with a lot of things, because I didn't want to be perceived as a not so much non-traditionalist, because I want to keep my tradition, but I wanted to be respected. So if I were to take something from here and take it to Mexico, that they would say, what the heck, what is she doing? Okay, it's okay that it's like when I came up with the idea back when I did IDDM with the color Veracruzes. At that point in time, everybody was like, oh my God, folklorico, and
No, yeah, I remember you told me.
Color Veracruzes, are you kidding me? And why are you going to disrespect the white one? No. Have you done the research?
Sunday was White Sunday. That's what it was for church, to look your best, look badass. The rest of the day, you're in dirt. You're not going to wear white.
No, and there's a history behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Veracruz, the only time you wear white is at a wedding or a special occasion.
Mm-hmm.
Every other time you're going to wear pastel colors. Mm-hmm. So that's why I would say it's you have to learn it a little bit, tweak it, yes, but don't. My biggest pet peeve is if you're going to do a Jalisco in a Nayarit costume.
No, you can't do that. No.
But this is what I'm saying. There's people that do that and say, oh, because it's okay that you can do jarabe tapatio in a Jalisco costume. I mean, it's still far-fetched, because it's still, it's a traditional Puebla that you're doing, and that's why you do jarabe tapatio. It's the Mexican hand dance. And you can kind of go that, but don't go ahead and do something. There's been some farcities that have gone out there that I kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, what are you doing?
You just look at it.
And actually, that's where I try to keep it as traditional, but colorful. Because my thing is color. It's the feast for the eyes. You need to feed them color. That's what they want to see. Movement, um, what they do, and and that's basically in the business world. That's what you're selling them. In regards to tradition for the kids and what they're learning and what the parents want them to learn, absolutely, you want to teach them tradition. You want to teach them not to just, because any of us could put on a skirt on a child and say, "Oh, look at how cute they look."
No.
But you only want to do that for so long, because it's really hard to bring them back and say, "Okay, this is how you're supposed to do it. This is what you're listening to. This is how you're following the music." Because it's like letting a child do whatever they want for the longest time, and then you want to bring them back and say, "Okay, wait, come back. This is how you're supposed. This is how you're holding the broom, and this is how you're supposed to sweep." Now where you're like, "Oh, cute. They're just moving the broom."
No, you see that with a lot of folklóricos, right? Especially, I think the number one, because right now there's a huge boom in folklórico, in my opinion. It's more popular than ever for...
I think there's just a lot of groups out there. It's not that it's so much popular, and I apologize to go against what you're saying.
No, it's fine.
Because the boom was in the 80s.
In the 80s. That was the initial push.
The initial.
And I feel like there's this resurgence to where it's not popular among 18 and above. 18 and above, like, yes, you get some dancers. I'm talking about the high school kids that are posted it on social media, that are putting it everywhere, that are making these like groups, these smaller groups and mid-sized groups out there, because they're publicizing everything, and then you see it and you're like, oh, okay, all these kids, like, they're the next 18 to 30-year-old that's gonna join and do it. So one of the reasons, like, I looked at making a folklorico group now and why I didn't do it before was I'm like, man, there's a market there that's gonna like boom, and it's like, who do I want these kids to learn from, and what system and structure do I want?
But let me ask you a question, and I'm going to turn the mic on you. So it's understandable. Or let me go back. Who's making those dancers?
Oh, right now, not the best people.
And you need instructors to make them, like you said, those dancers where you just call them up and say, I need you to come and do this. But if they don't get the proper beginning skills, that never is going to happen. And you say these teenagers are creating groups of their own now, depending on what they were taught, is what's going to continue to be taught.
Oh, they'll get smoked. In my opinion, it's like the market's going to contract, where I think the economy is doing really good right now. It's doing way better than a lot of people say it is. And that's why you have these flourishing, all these folklorico groups. Second, the economy crashes, all those maestros that have a couple students, and they're like, oh yeah, I make 50% of my income from here. I make 50% of my income from here. They're going to have to quit their group. There's no way they're going to be able to, like, pay for everything, pay for studio time, pay for costumes, or if they do provide, or the students aren't going to be able to, or parents aren't going to be able to pay for it anymore. They're just not. So I think you're going to see a huge contrast in all these little groups, because everyone's going to have to go get jobs now, in my opinion. Because I know quite a few people that that work at their job, and they don't do it full time. They do it like maybe from 7 to 2, 7 to 1, and don't do the extra overtime, don't do any extra stuff, and then work on their folklorico. But if they're not crushing it, they're all going to go away. I think it's just going to get swept, and it's going to go through this surgence of, like, only the biggest groups are going to be big, and it's going to go down to 3 to 5 that basically have the support of it, because it's happened every single time.
The only thing I see, and going back to the amount of folklorico groups that are out here right now, and like in your case, because in reality, when do we get called upon? As a group, when do we get called upon supposedly for a
show,
job or a show, so to speak?
Right now, my numbers, like, I'm just going to speak for myself and what I'm doing. when I was a little independent freelance dancer, I was getting maybe 4 to 6.
You exactly.
And then
you just clarify that as a freelance, you male dancer.
Mm-hmm. And then for my group, I'd say 20%. 20% is paid gig, and it's not paid. It's either some of them call me, or the other interpretation of it is I just go out there and find the business, and I have to do the cold calling. I have to do the marketing. Almost every single show, I want to say 90% of the shows we gotten, I've called and reached out, and then I get the same cold email. Like, I send the email out, blah, blah, this, I know it's your event. Send it out there. They send me, oh, do you have a reel or a tape? I'm like, hey, why do I need to send you a tape?
Because they do require it. Like, no, I know that they require it.
I know they require it, but to me, it's like, well, you can't just go Google Folklor America. And so I send them, I'm like, look, I don't have a tape, but here are my social media links. Every single show I've gotten, they just look at all the videos, they look at the likes, they look at the followers, and they're like, yeah, come. And I don't think that's how we got on all our shows. Well, 90% of our shows. And then from there, you get the person that's like, oh, can you come perform here? And then that's where we get the paid gigs. But I want to say for every 10 shows we get, 2 are paid. 2 are either at mariachi.
That's a tough number.
Mm-hmm. That's the numbers, though.
Yeah, but that's something that I've always struggled with.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest struggle is that, we're going to hire a mariachi.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll pay them $1,000. Oh, but we don't have a budget for dancers. But we want you to dance.
No.
I'm like, wait a minute. I understand that the mariachi is going to stand for an hour, or play for a half hour, take a break for 15 minutes, and then you want us in that 15-minute gap. For you, it's 15 minutes. But for us, it's 2 hours because of the preparation or the visuals that you want.
Those are the concert gigs, right? Like, we're
just
talking
in general. Just in general, or it's like wedding gigs, quinceañera gigs.
All those are paid, though, aren't they?
Correct.
It should be.
But they don't want to pay you the same amount, and or they always pay you less.
Mm-hmm.
They always pay you less than a mariachi.
I just don't take them. Like,
no, that's understandable. It's always our choice to take them or not. But or the gigs that they say, oh, this is for exposure. After 10 years, I don't need exposure. Okay. I take some of them, like even the little, like the church gigs, as practice platforms for the kids. Because they need somewhere to dance.
I think that's one of them I'm not a fan of doing. Church gigs, if somebody calls me for, I think I've denied 2 church gigs.
Yeah, but this is a difference though, because of the age group that you have and the age group that I have.
Yeah,
and those
true.
are the things that you have to they always need a platform to practice on. Knott's Berry Farm, those are some of the ones that also, Knott's Berry Farm, Disneyland, Six Flags Magic Mountain.
I'm gonna score on all. I'm gonna apply to all those because I got kids. So I understand that you have to do it for free. I understand you need to do it real.
You have to pay.
Yeah. What? For
I
who?
don't know if you knew that.
For
Knott's
Knott's
Berry Farm, you have to pay for all the tickets. You have to pay for your entrances. They don't pay you.
Seriously?
I'm serious. Okay?
That's
and I will
weird.
give you, the applications are out there.
Yeah, I've seen them out there and I've considered doing them, but I didn't know you had to pay.
You have to pay.
That's ridiculous.
You have to pay.
They should at least comp your tickets.
No. Disneyland? There's 2 Disneylands. There's Performing Arts, which you have to pay.
Seriously, for the performing
tickets,
arts?
the performers have to pay. Okay, and they give you this beautiful little plaque. I have tons of them. They're right there when we first started.
Sorry, Disney. Sorry, Mickey Mouse. Disney Plus is killing it. You can afford to comp my dancers.
Wait a minute. Let me finish. So you have Disney Perform. And I'm putting that out there because I didn't know none of this until I walked into this world. And again, because I have kids. Oh, man, I'm going to go dance at Disneyland. Wow. It's a reality. And sticklers. Okay? That again, you have to submit video. Now they've gotten tougher. I've been doing Disney since 2014. Okay. So anyways, I don't do it every year because of the same thing. Because my people can't afford it. They'll comp my kid. Now they comp students, but the parents have to pay. and those are $115.
Yeah,
per
no,
parent.
no.
Okay, but like I said, I have kids. Submit the music. If it's in Spanish, you have to translate it. You have to give them the order of the music.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, like I said, submit your website, the performance video. It's a long. You apply in January, and they don't let you know until October.
No, like now I'm like less interested because I didn't know you had to pay for all this because no, it's like a lot of the times you work on it. I'm setting a whole block of 4 months of practice time to do this one specific show when I can go do my own thing.
30 minutes.
Like, why waste my time then?
Six Flags, you have to pay for your own tickets.
Mm-hmm. That's where you just no. I know what is it. I know people also have agents. Have you ever dealt with agents?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm out there with like 3 of them or so.
Mm.
Again, it's 16th of September, Cinco de Mayo,
Mm.
you know, and then you have El Pueblo, our lovely Olvera Street, that also doesn't pay.
Oh, I know they don't pay, and they have the worst stage of all of them. I think if you have to perform in the gazebo thing, don't do it. This is for anybody that hasn't done it.
Well, we've done it.
Do it on
like
the floor.
I said, exposure.
Yeah.
It's exposure.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on, I'm always a true believer of doing things once.
Mm-hmm.
I will always do it once. Okay, just to say, okay, I did it already. I can thank Carelli and this man that just passed away from UC, from Northridge. We did a show at, no, that wasn't even through Carelli. This was through Plaza de la Raza. We were at the fort, the John Anson Fort.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to do that with IDDM. Again, kids. But underlying with that, it was, again, tooth and nail, because every time I get my kids to perform, it's the same thing. I tell them, are you going to feed them? Are you going to give them ride tickets? Mm-hmm. What is it in it for the kids if you're not paying them? What are you going to give them? So like I do the church gigs, they give me like either the ride tickets or they give them food and that's the only way. Say, okay, you don't have to pay me, but I need something for them. So that's my agreement with them all the time. But we did the John Anson 4 with this gentleman, and he promised them supposedly to the seniors they were going to get
if you don't get contract, don't mean nothing.
No. He promised them scholarships. Yeah, right. Scholarships. No. That didn't work. Mm-hmm. I have that on tape also. I asked him for a videotape from that performance. He never gave it to me. Mm-hmm. I don't even know who to ask at this point. And luckily, I just have some documentation. Somebody at that time, luckily, we had phone video at the time. And a little bit of it, but I have it on a feed. But it's a tough world. It's income-wise, like I tell you, you don't make the money. A lot of my savings and investing all went into IDDM. Trying to get a lot of it back is very tough. I really thought about it. I had a 3-year lease with my other studio, and he sold the building. That's why I had to leave there, and then I came here.
I don't think I ever saw your other studio.
I loved the other studio. It was this same size, double. It was huge, but he sold the building. And he was really good. But anyways, so I came here, and I'm locked into a 4-year lease here. But it's like everything. It's like the luxury of having a studio. Yeah, it's a storage space. The space to rehearse in. But it only happens if you have people coming in the door and they're willing to take the time and to be part of your of this venture, because I've always said it, and thanks to my that part, I thank my parents because it's all in kind. It's they pay their tuition, and it's their studio. It's not my studio. It's their studio. It's what they want to put in for their child to learn. Um, did you get? I mean, like at Plaza, when I was teaching there I taught there for 9, close to 10 years. I did a full circle kind of thing, and again, taught tots. I taught from 3-year-olds to 8-year-olds. I did 2 classes when I was there at Plaza. That's where IDDM. After Arte Flamenco, we went there, and um, and trying to get them. I went off. Um, Trying to get them to understand, to get out of just paying their tuition, or they're paying their classes there at Plaza for a 3-month run, or what was it, 120 or whatever it was at that point.
I don't know. I've never paid.
You never paid for classes at Plaza?
No, I've danced at Plaza. I've never paid.
But paid
I've
take classes.
No.
So they were paying me. They were paying me $30 an hour to teach classes. But obviously, because it's a nonprofit organization, and it's coming back to like I said, my full circle. I needed more time at that point in time. I needed more time to teach the kids. I needed to instill in them to perfect them to the level that I needed to have them at that point in time. Because after the struggle that I had with all the adults, and I knew that wouldn't work for me, and because they all had their own ideas of what they wanted to do at the time, that's why I turned to the kids. And if it wasn't for the kids, I would have never started an official IDDM. That I started with only 6 kids at the time. But to give, at that time when I started with the parents, and when I was going through trying to wean myself out of Plaza de la Raza, and then to get into a studio, it was a lot of educating and telling them, this is how it's going to happen. If you don't pay a certain tuition during the time, we won't be able to have a place to go rehearse. Like some of these, I see a lot of people, very few people have studios out there right now. Like one is Ralph, and then one is Carelli. I don't know who else.
Let's see, it'd be the people that I know. You, Rafa, Carelli, Rosemary, a Whittier Studio,
Rosemary.
Frank and Alex.
Oh, yeah. Frank Alex.
Like basically all the people that are like, I feel like they have this union. Is it just me? Or
union?
Not a union, but it's like a union. Like it's all a bunch of instructors that like work together, and that's why they threw these shows and stuff like that. And It's like I see it, and I'm like, when there's a group of people, because I've been hit up and they've talked to me. I'm like, when there's a group of people that tell me there's an opportunity to make money, no one's making money.
No,
it's just like no. It's like if you don't have the creativity to put on a concert,
right?
It's like you should be able to do it on your own, or you should be able to incorporate other sorts of acts in order to make it entertaining and bring value to the audience.
Correct.
So, which is like, because I'm throwing like a mini 60 to 90 minute concert in end of February, early March, and I'm just gonna invest my tax refund in it. Like I'm just gonna go and then just throw it out there and then see what happens. And because the raffle we did, my wife and I sold 20% of the people do 80% of the work, which I don't expect my dancers to do any of the work because it's my business, it's my thing. I understand what I'm doing. And we sold enough to where if I took 20 to 30% of those people converted to the concert, I would be able to pay for everything. And that was all through Instagram, and I only went through half of Facebook. I got lazy. I was too lazy. There's too many things of going, because you would have to search for Facebook. It's different than Instagram. Instagram, everybody's my age. And it's easy to go through and market through it and then provide value, just keep providing. And then I just ask them, I'm like, you want to help out? Yes or no? Okay, whatever. I don't care. It don't matter. Next. Yeah, I was driving and the people that won, you could see like they were surprised that I was like dead serious that like I had a raffle. Like I raffled off a Nintendo Switch that I haggled off one of my buddies for like $100. And then what is it? I bought those 2 Sony headphones 3 months before, and I was trying to flip them on eBay, and there was just no demand for them.
Right.
So I was like, hey, why don't we raffle these off? They're like $150 a pop. Well, that's the retail price. I got them for like $50 each, because Target and Walmart, they're doing this new thing where instead of sending it to the dollar store, they just mark it 80% off, and they put it in the back where no one can see, in the tech area where the TVs are, and you'll see me there. I'll go to Targets and Walmart all the time now. Yeah. Just, what? This is $20. I'll buy this.
Right. But I mean, you're doing the right thing in regards to people love free and people love raffles. Okay. I'm not gonna lie. I make my people work. I make all the parents work, and because it's
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Like you said, getting on the computer and putting yourself out there, giving them a platform, getting them to these different places, even if they have to pay, and they need to know the reality, because if not,
it creates a sense of entitlement. And that's what I've already noticed it a little bit, and I see it, and I'm like, oh, okay. So how do I inner work this to where I combat that? Because I don't mind it, but because it means I'm doing my job really well on this business side of the spectrum. If I'm not relying too heavily on this side, but at the same time, it's like, oh, I see it. Oh, this is gonna be a problem. How do I adjust course? Because that sense of entitlement is real. That thing is real.
It is. It is. And it's hard. And I've had too many stories where I've been confronted with just many things in regards to like even judgmental people, why I have a new car, or judgmental people of where did I get certain things. God forbid that I wear anything new, because it's a judgmental thing.
Oh, that's just people being...
But it's a reality. It's a reality. And you always have... people talk. And like, I'm going to go back to like what I just said. I wish I had money to travel. I'd love to travel. But, everybody has a reason and how they do it. And it's respected. It's like, okay, good. I'm glad you're doing it. I'm glad you're doing this, and I'm glad you're doing that. But it's hard. It's really hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. It gets exhausting. I see you and the energy that you have right now to start this, and I applaud you. And I hope it goes well.
Oh yeah. Well, to me, it's super simple what I do. The formula I have is easy. It's like it's what is it? It's very simple to do. It's just hard to do it consistently. It's like working out. What I do is super. I'm like, hey, post 3 or 5 times a day. I haven't posted this week because, like, I mean, it's been since my family left for 10. It'll be 10 days tomorrow. I haven't posted for 10 days, which is insane for me.
Okay.
And I see it, and I'm just like, oh, it don't matter till Sunday. I'll start doing it Sunday. And just go through it, and then create the content reel, create this, create that, going through this. And it's super, like, the writing, all that is like, okay, next, okay.
Right. And next. It takes a lot of work. Even that takes a lot of work.
Oh, it's because I like doing that. That's the only reason it's not hard for me. The pictures, the photography. Yeah. Like, I carry my camera everywhere. I have my little kit. Yeah. That's the only reason I can do it. Because if I didn't like doing that, I wouldn't do nothing. I wouldn't do any of it. If I didn't like taking pictures, it's like I probably wouldn't record. I probably wouldn't be doing the podcast. Because for the people that are watching this, they're going to see pictures of stuff we talk about. The reason I'm going to do it is because I enjoy the picture part of it. I see. Putting it on YouTube, doing the downloads, dealing with the Wi-Fi that just is garbage and disconnects, or doing, figuring out the tags or writing the copy. I hate writing. I don't like writing. And then sometimes you'll see 3 paragraphs under my photos, And I'm just like, that took effort. You see all the misspellings, or people will be like, "Oh, you misspelled this." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I'm not gonna correct it. I don't care." It's like,
people understand what I'm saying.
it's like, whatever. I'm done. Look, I'm done with it. It's over. The only thing I enjoyed was taking the picture, going on my phone, and editing it. Right. That was the fun part. Everything else, the hell with it. Like, I'm gonna. Well, I probably won't even ask the venue. I'm just gonna do it and then get fined. But but my buddy has a drone. So at this concert, I'm gonna drone it. I'm gonna throw the drone up there. I should have a second camera by then, so I'll use this camera plus a second camera, and then put up the tripods, film it from different angles, and just with that 60 90 minute concert, I'll be able to create maybe 100 or 200 pieces of content. Because I just don't post on Facebook. I post on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, and I look at the Folklorico hashtag, and I see who's doing it and how many so. Nobody.
Yeah, no, and I'll tell you. I mean, in regards to me, it took me a long time to start doing tech savvy stuff.
But you're more established though.
Right.
You have the advantage of being here for, how long has it been? 15 years?
Actually, no. This is going to be my 14th year. 14th year.
You have a 14-year head start. I need to do something to catch up.
But I'll tell you right now, with people that just get started now, they have, even if you have a namesake and you've been out there for a while, the tech savviness it's like a wave. It overtakes you. And I'll put it out there again. It's like Carelli just started, I want to say 5 years ago, if anything.
It's been how long?
Yeah,
I joined up with Carelli I was part of not her first wave, but her second mini wave.
Right, but I'm saying in regards to her like really getting settled, like, but look at how much she's done.
Well, it's the way you attack things. And then, because I was there at the I didn't do much for Carelli. I did only the logistics part, which was how do we run practices? Who do we recruit? Who's our target audience? And how do we do it? And how do we approach shows?
Correct.
And those were the 4 things of, like, I remember sitting with her at, like, Chili's, going over everything, going to her, I think it was her mom's apartment at the time. Yeah, because she was living with somebody else, and we would go to her mom's apartment, and I would sit there with me, her, and Teresita, just there, and I would be like, "Look, this is what we gotta do. All right, this is what's wrong. I've been to all these places, and if you don't do this, you're not gonna retain your people.
Correct.
Guarantee, because people like structure. People like being part of a young group. So if you don't have friends for your people, you're gonna fall apart. Which is right now. Like, I need to recruit friends for some of my girls, because I have a very wide age group. I have a 10-year-old, a 13-year-old, 18-year-old, 24-year-old, 30-year-old, and then like my older people.
Right.
And so when we go to shows, there's no connection. So I recognize that's the HR part of it, of like, I need to get friends. I need to recruit people and make friends, because if I don't, they're going to get bored, and they're going to be like, well, I just want to hang out with somebody. And that was my problem. I never had anybody to hang. I think when I joined up your group,
you were the youngest one.
Yeah.
That was the problem. This is what I was saying. And I think when I recruited everybody, or when they all fell into it, Tony Ramirez, which was one of the ones that started with us as well, had a group that had just disbanded. He called all of his high school friends at the time. So there was like Myra, and then Myra, Luis, Fernie, Linda. There was all of them that had just come out of Wilson, and they wanted to come back and do a regroup. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
They came in, and then I had Evita that was there at the time. And then, that's how they kind of formed in together. But again, they just wanted to do it. There was no seriousness.
I remember the arguments there.
And I took it too serious. And I take this serious, because
you have to take it seriously.
There's a sense of, okay, if you want to do this, this is how we need to do it. this is what, and this is, I think, the part that I'm struggling with right now is how serious do you want your child to take it, or is this just a hobby? And I've been told. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
The seriousness about, do you want your child just to come and just take classes? But I want my kid to perform. Okay, well, if you want them to perform, this is what they need to do. But no, I don't want to be at practice.
No, that doesn't work.
It doesn't work that way. And this is what I try to come across. You have them go to Plaza de la Raza and take one class a week. The difference of having 2 classes a week, or 4 hours in a week, or 6 hours in a week, apparent difference from having 1 hour a week. There's huge differences of preparation. And some of these, and this is when I used to tell them at Plaza, if you want a seriousness with your child, then I would suggest for you to go to the studio. Not that I'm taking you, but this is the difference. I can't put your child on stage like I went back to. I can put them in a skirt and have them move their skirt and say, oh, how cute. Is that what you're looking for? Or do I really want them to do the whole thing? Really get into the whole, performance deal and really have them, like you said, put them on a stage, make the lights hit them, put them on camera, and really have that experience. And that's what I'm having trouble with. And that's why
that's a turnover rate, and that's going to be completely, I think I'm more lax to those things, because even, one of my guys on Telmo, like, you made his day when you knew his name, like, and I was like, of course she knows your name.
No, I knew him from Carelli's.
Exactly. I'm like, of course she knows your name, you dance with her. Yeah, but that was like 4 years ago. And I'm like, bro, she remembers. I know Susana.
Like, I know the folklorico world, and I see a lot of the people.
And it was so what were we talking about? Oh, so he was talking to me about something, and we're going, and I forgot what happened. Where something, I'm like, don't worry about it, bro. Drive on, move on. Like, keep going. That's what we need to do. It was something about like costumes. I don't know what it was. He's like, man, you're the most relaxed director like I've ever met. And I'm like, no, bro. It's not that I'm relaxed. I'm not like relaxed to the sense of, what is it? When we're at practice, we need to take it seriously. No talking, get stuff done. We need to do this. Technique needs to be right on this. This is how you do this step. This is what we're doing here. Understand that this song is based contemporary and it's going to be based off this. Like that, I'm serious. How to run the class, how to do the class, how to do the marketing. But my weakness is like costume perfection. And I understand that. And when somebody's like, oh, well, can I do this? I'm like, I'm not the artistic director for costumes. You need to ask Carolina. And they're like, well, why can't I just ask you? Aren't you the director? I'm like, no. I suck at that. I'll literally tell my dentist, I suck at that. She's here because she understands it and she knows it. I know the traditions of it, but I'll send blue flowers and red flowers out there and be like, fuck it, go. Let's get this done.
But Daniel, I'll tell you on that aspect, don't cut yourself short. Again, this is what I'm trying to tell you. It's depending on we're not all cookie cutters. We don't have to do all of that. We don't have to have 12 of the same color.
Oh, okay? Yeah. No, okay? I got you, yeah.
It's depending on what you want to see. And this is what I told you a while ago. It's in regards to what you want to see out there. What's your vision? What do you want to see? What do you know? And this is like, I'll give you my Michoacan suite. Okay. In Michoacan, we're used to seeing black skirts, the rebozo, the braids, and Michoacan, from the traditions that we've seen a while back, and from anywhere you go to Mexico, not everybody wears the same thing in 12 sets.
No, it's true. Yeah.
That we learned from the Amalias. Okay. And, or even if you see it from Samarripa now, he doesn't have 12 of the same thing. all the way across. Have you noticed that?
Oh, he changes everything.
You have 12 guys out there.
Mm-hmm.
They're not all wearing the same charros. Or they don't have all the same. There's certain things that are the same.
It's the certain things which, to me, makes the group more on point. So it's like, how would I explain? You're right about the charros. You're right about this, but it's the little things that need to be the same over the big things that can be different. And that's where I fail on, is the little things. So that's why I outsource that.
Well, like I'm saying, say I have 8 guys, and I definitely want them to have the same neckties for Veracruz.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a must. Their hats, it's my style. It's they have to wear certain long sleeve shirts, white pants, the white boots, and their white hat. Like some of them, okay, they have beige. Some of them have.
That hit big. The Huasteco Veracruz or whatever it's called. That's starting to catch a little popularity because people like the costume. The beige
pants.
The beige pants. I've seen like small group, like I've seen major people do it, and then I've seen the smaller groups following along doing it, and you see it, and I'm just like, I don't even care. Like I'm still gonna. I like white. I like white pants and white guayaberas, and let's see, the white hat is cool. I do black pants just for the sake of costume changes because I don't have enough people.
Right.
And
this is the other thing.
Yeah.
This is the other thing. This is why I'm telling you, you have to make it work however you can in the moment. I'm not gonna lie. Of course, when I started, black pants for everything. All you're gonna do is change your shirts, or it's the same thing. Like
it's faster.
It's easier. It's easier. Absolutely. This whole thing about all of these costumes, you have to figure out how you can make it a feast for the eye with not too much to move it around. It's like the whole shoe thing. Why does Amarripa only use one shoe color, base color? It's easier. They don't have to switch out from boots to white shoes to red shoes to black shoes to make everything more complicated for a lot of these. Again, if you think about it, parents, they use one shoe, one color.
Yeah, it's faster. Just like, because, what was it? I noticed it. I used full costumes for this corporate gig that we got. And, oh my God, I hated it. Like, because we had to do costume changes from Veracruz.
Yeah.
It was just, literally all I did was go from Veracruz to Jalisco. And we wear black pants for Jalisco and a black shirt for Jalisco with the moño because it looks fine.
Right.
I have people taking, I love your costume. People have taken pictures with me. And I'm just there, and I'm just like, I literally got this at Old Navy, lady. Like, I'm just in all black.
Yeah. But see, the moño makes a big difference, and the hat.
Yeah, just get yourself a 9 moño hat, good to go.
Biggest thing to go.
Yeah, I trip on my dancers because I'll wear layers on layers. Like, for Veracruz, I'll take my black shirt because I'm the director, so I need to be down there 15 minutes early, so I don't have the luxury to, like, do stuff.
No.
So
you don't have to tell me.
I don't have the luxury to do stuff, and I'm performing, and so I'm going there,
tough.
have all my stuff there, talk to the guy, get the music, and I'm like, look, it's ready.
Yeah.
It's on, because I have everything on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're not stopping. Don't pause it. Just let it go. Yeah. And they're like, that's it? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
You go up there, you do the dance. I literally take on my wear, I have my black shirt. I'll have my moño under, so I don't have to put on my moño.
Right.
Because you can't tell. You go.
Yeah.
30-second costume changes instantaneously.
Yeah. And I believe you. I stopped dancing. Once I started directing, I stopped.
Oh, I can't wait to stop.
There is no way. I couldn't. I don't even know how. And I wish I had more of me, because you're going to find this out. Being backstage and being also in like tech booths is tough.
Yep.
It's tough. It doesn't matter where you go. If you sign up for any of these, like you were talking about, helping other groups, where you're going to make $3 off of each ticket that you sell. You
can't give me a 20%. You have to give me at least minimum 50. Because you don't know how much I'm going to sell. I might be your best seller. You don't pay your best salesman 10% commission rate. You pay your best salesman, You
try to be nice out there in the folklorico world, believe me. It's like,
it's there's
but you're just like, You do things once. You do things once. That's all I can tell you. You do things once to put yourself out there, and that's it.
I don't know.
But like you say, if you have the ability to put it on yourself, that I've done we just did a 2-hour show. I did it all by myself. Okay, Rafa was there. And I still have so much leftover material. For all the material that I have, it would be a 8-hour show. But I couldn't even do that.
Yeah, that much.
I have a lot.
Right now, we have I think the most we have is a 30-minute set. Like a solid 30 minutes that I'm still working and perfecting and changing out songs. Because what I do, I treat it like a comedian. I watch the audience the whole time. And I'm like, the second they lose interest, I'm like, the song sucks.
Right.
I'm like, throw it out.
I will tell you right now out of experience, music is important. Needs to be clean, needs to be upbeat, it needs to be engaging for them to understand. They need to feel it. If they don't feel it, they probably don't understand what's going on. But if they don't feel the music that's getting to them, you're going to lose them.
Oh, it depends on the audience.
Not really, Daniel.
Yeah.
It doesn't. No.
I'm talking about not the music of the excitement, but the subtleties and what songs you choose. Because the Nutcracker, I would only use that if I was dancing with, like I was doing shows in Brea. Nutcracker was guaranteed was going to be in the set. I do a show at Plaza Mexico. Not going to be a set. We praised it because I did it once and I was like, oh, they don't understand that this is an actual Christmas song. They're used to Jingle Bells. Okay, I can no longer do this.
Burrito Sabanero in Plaza Mexico.
That's what I mean.
Understand. That's what
I'll mix up. So depending where I perform, I'll mix it up. Because Gavilancillo crushed at Plaza Mexico. They loved it. That one did amazing. So I took out Nutcracker, put Gavilancillo in there. That was more upbeat and exciting. The Ranchete finally is getting crushed. I've been wanting to crush it for like 2 months. I wanted to get rid of it for so long. But we had so many shows that I just needed a song there. And now we're going to put Jalisciense because I know Jalisciense always does well every single time. And we just ran it twice at practice. And I just need to clean it up one more time. We're done. So Tranchete will be out. Jalisciense will be in. And the rest of the set is pretty much complete. And it's 20 minutes. And then if I need to put fillers, I just put fillers. Chucha. Some random Norte song. But that's the one thing. I always watch the reactions. I watch what they do, who says thank you, who takes pictures. Like if nobody takes pictures with you after, your show sucked, in my opinion. If that's my opinion. Like if no one's coming up to me and being like, I want to take a picture with that guy or I want to take a picture with that girl, it's like we didn't hit a home run. You could hit a triple, you can hit a double, but you didn't hit the home run, in my opinion. So there's a lot of like where I look at it and I'm like looking at this, looking at that, and then I'll sit there and I'll watch a show and I'll be like, oh, this is pointless. Why are we doing this? And I'm like, scratch that. And I'll change it. I change it all the time.
Oh, yeah. Well, you have to.
I mean in the middle of the show.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, I'm heartless to my dancers.
No.
When we did Solvang, I was watching the audience, and I had made some calls beforehand. It wasn't even set up in the music. I made some calls beforehand, but since I use YouTube, I have everything pre-rolled. I just move it really quick. And I literally told one of my dancers, I'm like, tell her she's dancing the next song, Jarabe Tapatío, and she's doing it. And because we weren't supposed to stop at Negra, everybody bow and done. And we're all going to come at the end. I told all my dancers, we never practice it. I'm like, we're all going to come at the end. You two over there, you two over there. And this is while they're dancing La Negra because I was out of it. You two over there, you two over there. You're going to do this. You're going to do this. Everybody good? Let's do it. Because I recognize that if we ended at Negra, everyone was going to be like, oh, that's it? Like, there was no closure to the show.
Correct.
So I had to figure, and it was just the audience. So I had to figure out how do I give closure to these people, and that was the call. So. So yeah, that's like what I've done.
Well, again, it's because you have older dancers
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't do it to kids. Well,
Yeah.
I do have 2 kids.
Yeah, but
They've been with me
and you know
for
what?
over
My
a
kids have
year.
been with me, but I would only do it with my master class.
Mm-hmm.
That there has been times that I tell them, like in an instant, okay, we're gonna do this,
Mm-hmm.
and they all look at each other and they, oh, okay, we're gonna go.
Yeah, and you don't do that to kids. You change the
You don't
scenario
do
on
that to them,
kids,
yeah. And I think
you will wreck them.
that's why I'm saying that I think I have so much material because of that, because I have 3 levels,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm able to do that with an expanded amount of time. But it's taken a while. It's taken a while. I mean, it's a long journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's tiring. I can see some of these. I can see where you come to a point where it's just like you love it, but if you don't have help, it's a hard
Mm-hmm.
it's a hard journey. You need a lot of help. For some of us that don't like to ask for help, so meaning teachers, tech, um, costuming, fundraising, all of those things. You need a group of people to help you.
Yeah.
And to do it just solely, it's exhausting.
Yeah, it is. It's like I look at it. I think the main problems I see with it within this plan is how do you expand, but at the same time keep the group face of it. And I think the only way to do that is creating like this weird personal brand thing, which I don't want to do. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like moving
Branding
to
is
more
important,
studio.
though.
It is.
Branding is important. I know it's tough.
I don't
but
like doing it.
I know that it became very difficult. But if you see around us, that's what it is. People, they have to recognize something. And you just turned around and said, well, look at how long you've been in this industry. And everybody knows my logo at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody, oh, that's IDDM. And they don't even have to look at the words anymore. They just see that particular logo type and they recognize what it is. It's say that I don't even want to put myself out there anymore, but if somebody sees it somewhere, it's there. But it branding is important. I know, even if it's just going to be just the words.
Yeah, I don't.
And just that be your branding. I mean, when I introduced you here the other day, they know who you are. They already know who you are. And you need to have more of that. It needs to be out there.
Oh, yeah. I don't mind branding for the group, branding for the logo. I just hate the personal brand part that I know I have to do. Because you could see the shift. Because I was practicing on my profile, practicing on different things. And then once I started the group, I stopped posting on my stuff, which I think is a huge mistake and a missed opportunity. Because if I don't do it, that's what's going to combat the future of where you hear a lot of like, they hire an instructor, and since the person's personal brand isn't big enough, or they're not constantly in like the face of their students, even if they're not there, they're not on that feed, then they lose half their students. Boom, gone. And you see it happen time and time again. It's the same issue. It's like you have to create the personal brand. They have to know who you are. They have to understand that this is Folklor America, and that yes, David's teaching me, but David's part of Daniel. And Daniel's the one that does everything because I see it all the time. I see what he's doing. I see how he's working. And like he communicates with me and this and that. But I just don't like doing personal branding.
Yeah. I'm not too fond. And I think this has always been. It's taken me a long time to talk in front of people. A long time. Even when I was with Floricanto, and when Hema first sent us, when we were in high school, and we used to do the county fairs, and we would leave school early because we had to be at the county fair by 12 o'clock to do the whole 5 shows.
You guys did 5 shows at the county fair?
5 shows. every day for 30 days. We did that and be there from 12 till 8 o'clock at night. And it was very and I had to get up there and or we are Floricanto Dance Theater, we're doing traditional blah 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 blah, and I would always do it behind the curtains, or I feel very
now that you say that, yeah, like I don't think I noticed it, but I never noticed it because I was like, oh, that's what she does.
Yeah, see,
I just wrote it off.
But it's very difficult. I find it very difficult. I can dance up a storm in front of people because I know what I'm comfortable with. Speaking is very difficult for me.
Yeah, no, my mom broke that in me very young. I got lucky.
Yeah,
like because she when we would have presentations since the first grade, she'd make me no note cards allowed. You had to memorize everything, and it wasn't like memorize like what paragraph. It was a 3 or 4 page report, and she would sit there with me, and I would have to rehearse in the mirror all the time, every day, every day, and she would like, okay, say your second page, say your this, say your that, and then she would send me to her school because she worked at a school, and I would have to do my presentation to all the kids there, and just like talk about Daniel Boone, Thomas Edison.
Right.
So
but this is what I'm saying. You try to get any of your dancers to stand, because I try to do that exercise constantly because I'm trying to break that from them. I try and I make them stand in the center of their own peers and even just present themselves. And it's
they fall apart.
They fall apart. But they're the greatest dancers. They do a wonderful job dancing and they can show off their talents. But you get them in front, and I tell them, I said, it's the most difficult thing to do, but you're going to need to do it. Especially if you want to even teach. Because even being in front of your students, you have to talk to them to show them. Even if you're saying, okay, this is the step that we're doing, but they won't take that confidence if you're not confident yourself to be able to show them. If you're going to stand there in front of, okay, well, this is, no. They're going to say, this is how you, you have to go through the whole motions.
They've seen me do it. They've seen me do it a couple of times. I'll be out there and, what is it? Usually I put it right before the feature act. So we have 1 or 2 songs to open, maybe 3, depending on the show. And then right before I introduce the feature, which is either the people I hire or my daughter, she's out there doing her thing. I'll talk. I'll give my little spiel. No mic, it doesn't matter. I don't even care. I'm not going to wait for the technician to give me the mic. It just scream and yell. And they'll see it, and I talk crap to almost all my dancers. Not like, hey, what's like crap, or like I'll put somebody in charge of something. I'm like, hey, Liv, that's your job. You're going to stop the music. That's what you're going to do. And then she'll be like, oh, I'm going to mess it up. I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, just do it. It's like, if it skips, it's fine. It's like, it's not the end of the world. And then if I talk crap, I'll be like, oh, that was amazing. Give positive affirmations, but not in the, oh, that was amazing. Like, oh, that was amazing, but just over exaggerated. Because she stopped the music, which allowed me to talk, and then she played it again for the next act to go. And that was her job, to be that little media tech. So it gives her that little bit of confidence to be like, if I ever told her, hey, can you set up the playlist? This is the order. And then she'd be like, yeah. And then, can you talk to the technician? Yeah. And then that's how, in my interpretation, that's how I start raising these little leaders. But I have to not be scared of them fucking it up. I have to not care. Because if they skip a song or something happens, I just got to be like, yeah, just do it again. Now you know how to do it right. Which is something I learned from selling insurance. Because when I would go on some of these training appointments, I would notice certain trainers were so scared to lose the business that they would overtake it. Or they'd be like, no, don't worry, I'll do it. Or they would be like, no. And because they would overtake the business, that trainee was always scared of messing up, because now they saw it as like when they used to help their dad out to fix the car, and they're just holding the flashlight because their dad was so scared of breaking apart and spending that extra $300.
Right.
So they'd be like, no, yo voy, tú no sabes nada, get out of here. I'm going to do it. Hold the flashlight. So they never built that confidence up at a young age.
Well, it's like, if you see it that way, we're in the process of training teachers.
Oh, you're
So
training leadership.
you need to, other than them being dancers and they dance with you for a while, you have to train them to become teachers.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you said that you were going to take this on of being a director to create your group.
Mm-hmm.
You had that confidence in your mind what you were going to do to create this group. There's different aspects of how you have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you have to take the responsibility on other than, aside from, you have to teach a group of people, okay, of what you want to put out there, how you're going to put it out there, how you're going to market it out there, what is, like you said, what's going to sell. And you need to make sure that you're starting it the right way. So, and I've always said this, and when and I always put my hat on, and I've always told them this. I know for a fact that what I have is because I've trained them, I've made them, I've created them. That I've created them to a point where they can go anywhere. They can go anywhere and be exactly the dancer that you're looking for. The ones that you can say, hey, just come in for 2 rehearsals and you're going to take it, and I already know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Not where you're not going to hire somebody that doesn't know anything. What do you want me to do? I don't know what that is. I don't know what a zapateado is. I don't know what a tornillo is.
Oh, no, you can't.
You know, or I don't know what a borracho is. Exactly.
Because then there's a lot of them. I say 80%. 80% of the dancers are along that route that are going there or heading there, and 20% are just killers. But either nobody knows about them or they're not serious about it.
Right.
I guess you would say.
Right.
I think I had the great luxury of being introduced to the payment at Young because of Nacho, because he used to pay me. And, you do the quinces, you see, you're like, damn, you can get paid doing this? I think I was like 13. Right. And you look at it, and I'm like, damn, that's crazy. I'm like, why did I get here? What did I do? I'm like, it's because, like, you know a bunch of stuff. It's not, and then that's when I started hopping around. It's not that I was trained in this one style, and then I became good, and now that I'm a good folklorico dancer, I have my own group. It's like, no, bro, it's because you know a lot, and you're adaptable, so you need to learn as much as you can, and become as adaptable as you can, and understand that this is work when you come to practice.
Right.
Because I never really joked around and talked. I don't think I did I? No. I just kept my mouth shut, learned everything I could, and got it done because that was my job. Because I was working. I was working as a dancer.
And see, I don't like to expose my kids to payment early on. Mm-hmm. Not because I'm being greedy. It's because they need to learn the payment process once they come into the high school age. Mm-hmm. Like into the 15, 16. Because that's when you're supposed to really understand after you finish your studies. Because that's the other thing that I learned is that they get so confused in regards to dance is going to be my life, and dance is everything that I'm going to do, and I'm going to make a lot of money doing this. Hence, your experience making money at 13. Mm-hmm. Are you making money now?
Nope. For a dance? What? How do I put this?
It's not the money that you thought you were making then.
It's so weird because the way I've always had this different outlook on things. I got paid early because I started early dancing, but I started learning dancing early the right way from Juanita. Mm-hmm. She didn't teach me anything but basics, techniques, how to do zapateado, how to do this, how to do that. No showmanship, just pure basics. And then I got refined with Emilio Rivas, and I was going.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Emilio Pulido was the name I was.
That was his teacher.
Yeah. Right.
Because he was one of the first two. Mm-hmm. He learned from Emilio Pulido. I remember he brought him one time to practice, and that fool was gone. He was just like old. He had sunglasses on. He was all hungover from the night before. And I remember it. I'm like, that's where you learned from? Okay, sounds good. And I got refined from him, so that allowed me to get the opportunity to get paid because I knew I was already that strong to get paid. And it was a game of how much can I learn to keep it going and to keep it moving. And I was a guy, so I had a huge advantage.
Yeah.
Guys are always needed.
Guys are always needed. And this is what I tell that's what I've always told my girls. So we always have disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
Disadvantage. I mean,
it's saturated for the female market.
Yeah. Because women, there's always women that are willing to do it. Guys, I said, unfortunately, I said the guys will always get paid. I mean, more and better, and they'll be more, requested for than we do.
But the going back to now, there's no payroll for dancers, and I think it's possible, but I think it's going to take an insane amount of work. I think it's possible to get folklorico dancers on payroll, but it's one of those deals of like you're going to have 5 couples on payroll. That's it. If you're lucky, you're going to have 5 couples on payroll touring gigs and doing that, and don't think it's going to be like I only make let's say I only make 10 Facebook posts and do this. No, you're going to need a whole agency, a whole group, a whole schoolhouse, all this other stuff, and then you better be working this and be working, making income.
I think that's gonna be because, again, let's go back to what we were talking about before, because there's so many folklorico groups, so many little groups, so many young kids, so many people that are gonna put it out there at no cost, that why should they even pay for it? Is what I'm trying to get at.
No, I get that. I get that part. There's always going to be people that undercut you. There's always going to be business. There's always going to be like a price issue. But I think what people don't see is there's going to be two different sides of it, to where the people that are on payroll, they're professionals. Let's be honest. They're professionals. They're at the top of their game. They're doing everything. They're crushing it, killing it all the time. And they have maybe not that long of a lifespan, to be honest, because kids, work, life, you can't be on the road all the time. So you have to still have the schoolhouse do all those other shows that, other people will undercut you. So it's like you're fighting on all fronts all the time, to where a lot of folklorico groups don't call for shows. They don't cold call. They don't go through the numbers. They don't cold email. They don't do none of that. And they don't get it. Because I've performed in some pretty cool places. And you just look at it and you're like, no one's contacted you about perform here? No, you guys are the first ones we've ever done. And I'm like, why? This is awesome. It's not the work part of it. We're like, oh, you got to go. It's like, there are a lot of shows out there that get you the right exposure. That get you in front of the right people. And you start building these relationships with the PR people, the marketing people, the mayors. We have, well, it's my wife's group in that sense. Because, where I was joking about, I'm like, babe, you have a folklorico group now. Because she contacted them with her email, so they thought it was her group. So the mayor of Brea sent her a thank you letter and stuff like that. We can't wait to have you next time. You had a wonderful Christmas show. We would love to call you again. But that's a relationship you build with the mayor. Of course. And that's a relationship you build here. And you're going to build all these people and do all these things for free, and you're just going to hold your breath. And the next thing you know, it's going to be until you get to the point of just get Folklor America. That's the goal. That's where I want it to be, where if you go with, if you're talking to Siri, because I think that's what's going to be the next thing is voice. You're just going to talk to it. It's going to do whatever you want. Instead of say, give me a folklorico group for my Cinco de Mayo gig. It's going to be, just give me Folklor America for Cinco de Mayo. And that's where I'm trying to hit. To where it's that point and you take that market share, because nobody wants it. Because everybody, I don't know. But it's going to be hard. It's going to be almost impossible.
I mean, nothing is impossible. It can be done. It's interesting, like you said, these talks that you had with Carelli. And
the beginning, the logistics.
The beginning of it, and I know the stories behind the name and how she got the name.
That was just somebody said it, right? At a show?
Nope.
No? Or somebody had already had the DBA on it?
Had the DBA didn't have the DBA on it, but it was out there, and then she picked it up. It happened, and it works well.
Mm-hmm.
The way she has it, it works very well because obviously it's going to come up, and it's
first thing, Folklorico group in Los Angeles.
Yeah, Los Angeles. Boom, it's
done.
And that's fine. It's it's the way you put it out there, and that combination that they have between mariachi and folklorico is perfect, and the way she has all the classes right now, and it's working really well, really, really well. And that she's not doing it by herself.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's always wanted that. I mean, I remember sitting there and we would have conversations and talk about, I want to be like, it should be a power couple dynamic between you and your partner. Like you should be both offering and building something in a business. Because we would have these conversations. She's like, yeah, because like this and that. And ideally, this is the way I see it. This is how I want to do it. And she's right. And this is what she always had this great thing of saying yes to everything. Excellent at saying yes. And then she had this great thing of listening to instruction and like how to do things and just going by the numbers, which was smart, which this is where a lot of people fall off. And then she had and from there, I think the only thing, if I was in there and I was working for her, I would just change HR. If you don't have a good HR department, you're not going to be big. It'll fall apart every single time. If your HR is not good, you'll fall apart because people are your commodity, which I'm not trying to make it sound so, business-like.
Right.
But if your HR department isn't killing it and you don't have that environment, you're never going to grow. That's always been not my opinion, but
it's been good though.
In
all aspects.
It's like the people that left her tell me the same, Steve.
But that's turnaround.
Yeah, no, it's turnover rate, but it's what they say. It's not that they say that the turnover rate was because, I had no more time or no more this. It's the same consistent problem that I've seen over and over and over that can be fixed with HR. And that's just the way. That's how I know Richard, who runs, I forgot, Gerencia.
Yeah.
He ran Herencia. He had over 100 people coming to his thing down in there. He had a ton of people, and it was because his HR was good. It wasn't because he was the best at everything.
Right.
It was because he would be like, come to my house and have a barbecue. Or he would treat people, with love and respect and doing his thing. Yes, that creates that sense of entitlement we're talking about, and you get somebody complain, well, I don't like the fact that she said Merry Christmas instead of Happy Holidays. Like, you get that crap? Because, then you start drawing people like that, but that's a good problem to have. That means you're going in the right direction. It's going to be like, bro, respect, who cares? Mm-hmm. But, yeah, if your HR is not on point, to me, that's where groups start falling apart.
And I believe it. That's true. Because it's hard. Again, I tell you, on a personal aspect, it's very difficult because putting yourself out there to be HR material, you try to engage without being the center of attention of too many things. I understand about sitting back and having a drink or sharing certain things. Like in my case, not with the person one-on-one because it's not my kids, it would be with the parents.
But you did it great though when you would have the eatings after practice.
Right.
Yeah.
When like I said, it was my peers at that point in time. They were my age. But now that I have a kids group, having to do that with the parents.
Oh, that's a different dynamic.
It's a very difficult dynamic. It's a difficult HR thing to do because you want to engage with them and you want to be their friends, but they construe it in regards to, because I'm your friend, you need to owe me a favor now.
No. There's that's where my assholeness comes in really well. That's where I can look you dead in the face and be like, no, you're not doing it. Sorry. Like, there was like, but what about all the other stuff I did you? I'm like, so you weren't being nice to me and just helping me out? So you expecting? I'm like, then don't give me anything, bro. If you give with expectation, you're not giving. You're manipulating, and that's just the way it is. Right. So,
but getting them to understand that.
Oh, I'll say it. I'll blow somebody out of the water. Fine. Yeah.
But because of that, this is what I'm telling you. There's different. It depends on how, and like I said, I learned it with the adult group, and these past 14 years, I've learned it with the kids group on how you're always stepping on eggshells all the time and trying to pull commitments. What I've tried to learn is that what is it if not like in Ralph's group? You have the adult group and then you have the kids group. Obviously, the kids or the smaller ones are always wanting to learn from the middle ones. The middle
Ralph's
ones
are always
Valpuesta.
Okay.
The little ones are always trying to learn from the middle ones. The middle ones are always wanting to they always wanted to go a step ahead. They always want to do what the older ones are doing, because that's in any group. They want to progress. But you're not liberated from these parents on always being the ones that are judging your artistic beliefs, and where you're the teacher and you're telling them, this is what I believe, this is where this student should be. Oh no, well, I think they should be over here already because this is what they do. No, but I'm telling you, this is where they're at. But I've been with you already like 10 years, but yeah, they haven't progressed to that level. That's why they're still here.
I think,
and they fight on it.
It's the whole dynamic of it's your kid and you think the kid's the best at everything. And then you have to also, I think that's another reason why I'm filming and taking photos of everything and constantly putting it out there, because it exposes it to the group.
Of course.
And I think, this was when I've been past in other groups where the instructors that filmed everything and the dancer would make it known that, well, I should have the front spot. All the dancers seen the video. All the dancers seen the photos. All the dancers saw you tired and dying. And they all look at that person and their credibility goes straight out the window for the dancers. And I've seen it happen a lot of times to where, for when people filmed and took photos and then you would see the performance and then someone would start complaining about this, and this. And we knew, because we saw the show. The reason you're in the back and they're in the front. It's like, no. It's like, you're not that strong, bro. But I can say that stuff. It's like, no, bro, what are you talking about? Like, they're good. Have you not seen them? I know she practices 3 hours a day at home. Like, I know she does it. I know she practices her fadel all the time. Like, you're crazy. You're competing with that, coming to practice twice a week, practicing 1 hour a week, 2 hours a week.
Yeah, but trying to convince a parent.
Yeah. And that's where you just give them like, yeah, whatever. Like, you're going to leave me. Just leave. Just get the turnover. Go to somewhere else.
See, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't. If a dancer comes to me, and separation issues are very difficult, I'll tell you right now. Having a dancer with you for 6 years, and when they come to you and say, I'm leaving. And
what? You don't expect them to quit on you? I expect everybody to leave me.
No, I expect for them to quit.
Yeah.
I expect for them, and actually, what my goal is for them to tell me, I'm going to go to this group because now I'm ready to move on. It's hard for me to see them leave in the middle when they haven't finished growing. when I know that I can do a lot more for them. But when they've left, like all my college kids, obviously they have to leave because they have to go to college. That's understandable. But when they leave just to leave with no
No foundation.
no foundation, no nothing, and I tell them, don't stop, don't stop. It's gonna be here. It'll always be here because this isn't gonna end. And I tell them, for as minimal instruction that they have, and in your experience that you've been all over the place, somebody's going to turn around and say, hey, teach me something. And that you have in your pocket, that you're able to do that. And I tell them, you're going to, one day, anywhere that you're at, because you've done this for so many years, you're going to be asked. And you're going to say, oh, I know how to do that. Or, I can teach you. And you're going to say, oh, yeah, I can get like 3 kids together. And because you have it. Don't fall short of something, that a jewel that you have, and that you can make something strong out of it. But it's very tough. It's always tough to see a kid go. Your own kids, or what you've created, especially what you've created.
I see it. I know what you're talking about because I see it all. It's like these two contradictions where I'm just like, oh, good luck. We'll see what happens with you. And at the same time, like, I'll see the videos and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what they're doing. Because I have that where, like, I have, when I left, when I was working for Tierra Blanca and helping there and doing that and then working with them, and you're seeing the growth of the people that I was working with, Zapateado, and the kids. And then after that, had an opportunity, took my opportunity, went and did my thing. And out of that, people were like, oh, can we come with you? I'm like, yeah, but she's going to be pissed off. I'm just letting you know. That shit ain't going to work. I'm like, that's how it's going to be. The amount that these two have progressed over the rest that stayed is freaking insane. It's insane. Like, you've seen the videos of those, what is it, the green and orange? It's like the green has a natural talent for it. She's 10. Yeah, she's 10 years old. And she's doing her faldeo probably as strong as like a intermediate at 15 or 16. Because like just the harping of the way the circles are supposed to be, the way this is supposed to be, how you're supposed to do this. And then her older sister's 14. She doesn't have the talent for it, but she tries. So therefore she tries, it compensates for it. And her faldeo is coming more along. Her this is coming more. Like, we still need to work on things, but it's coming there. But compared to where they were at, oh my God, it's like a 10,000% increase. And and I see the past dancers, which I've taught, and it breaks my heart because I'm like, it's like they reverse and they regress. And it's like, no, we're on such a good path. You could have been one of the best. Right. Like, I know one of them there. She could have been one of the best. And now it's just, like you were saying, cutesy. And it just falls apart. And it hurts. But at the same time, it's like, oh, well, just keep driving on.
It's just, it's difficult. And I know that I drive them hard. I teach them hard. I'm very, it's funny. Not funny, I shouldn't say that. I mean, it's interesting to know that people that really don't know me already have a perception, or that I'm like very strict. But it's not strict. It's not that I'm being strict. It's things that everybody needs to know in life. You get to practice on time. You come prepared with your things. You need to know what you're doing and be serious about what you're doing if I'm going to teach it to you.
Yeah, the on time thing. I'm having a problem with some of my dancers on time, and I tell them, be on time. I'm like, if I had a conversation, I'm like, bro, the only reason you get away with this is because we're small. I'm like, there's going to be somebody like me one day who's going to come, who's going to show up on time, who's going to do it in, and I have to go with that person. Not. I know we're friends. I know we're cool, but I have to go with this person because they're crushing it. And when you give me the whole spiel of like, well, I've been with you for like 2 years, I'm like, you're also getting 2 years of being late. And this person has been here for 6 months and they've crushed it every single time. And they told me their intentions and goals. And this is where they're going to go. And I'm like, look, this dude's probably going to be here. If you want to wait it out, because he'll probably leave in 2 or 3 years because he's like me. And he'll go learn somewhere else. And then he'll be back to that lots of days ago. But I have 2 years to recruit new people and to build new people. Yeah. It's like you can either push it to the front or fall behind back.
And and like I tell you, I have tons of stories, tons of examples, and tons of experiences. And each case is individualized. Mm-hmm. Great dancers always show up late. They should be always front and center because they're excellent dancers, but always late.
You can't. It's like I can't depend on you. If I have a corporate gig and you're my best dancer, but you're always late, how do I know you're going to show up on time to the corporate gig? You're going to put your paycheck in jeopardy. You're going to put everybody else's paycheck in jeopardy because you can't show up on time.
And see, in these lessons are the lessons that I teach them. But if they have a parent, and this is the same thing I'm saying, I can't blame the kid because it's the parent.
Oh, that's a different story. There you have different dynamics. I'm talking about the 18 and over.
The 18 parent, and over, but the problems that I have are very, very difficult because the kid, if it was up to them, they'd be here on time.
They'd take an Uber if they could.
But they depend on their parents. The class's payment is dependent on the parents. Mm-hmm. Them being here on time is the parents. Them costume-wise and things that they don't forget. And for as much as I instill in them, you need to sit there with your parent and tell them, I need this, I need that. And I create lists and I put it on the walls. And I don't know if you've ever seen those things. I have a list of everything that they have to use.
Oh, I use a band app for that.
No, I do. Yeah. I do.
Oh, you on band app too, or no?
I have a band app as well.
It's awesome.
And I communicate with them constantly. But for as many times as I put it out there and I put it on band
But I think that's good that you do that because it gives you the the currency to when something happens and there's drama that people are like, what are you talking about, bro? She always puts everything on here. You have the credibility, which that negativity gets killed right away. Because they're like, what are you talking about, dude? He's working hard. Did you not see him cutting costumes last time? Did you not see him cutting that Veracruz for you? Did you not see him cutting your Jalisco? What do you mean he doesn't work? And it takes those excuses that people give and shoves them right back up. Right. Because you built that relationship, and that's where that personal brand that I don't like doing comes in. Because people see it, and when it's like when all the facts are on the table, which is a great thing about this cell phone, there's no more excuses. They all get thrown out the window. And so then it isolates that person or that parent or that individual to the point where they're like, either they're going to leave or strain out. And it doesn't give them any wiggle room, which is difficult. It's weird. Just means cell phones are powerful.
It does. Yeah. It does. In more ways than one.
No.
Very, very powerful. But yeah, so it's been a long journey, a lot of learning, I wish a lot of people would have been not so egotistical, hoarding their information to be able to let people grow.
Oh, I have a plan for that.
And
I'm gonna release everything.
We're all part of the same family. Mm-hmm. What are you looking for? I've always said it, even when I'm a licensed cosmetologist. Mm-hmm. Okay. There's enough hair out there to cut hair for anybody that wants to do it. Mm-hmm. That some people don't do it better than others. Obviously, there's going to be somebody for some. If they want to pay for it over there, they'll pay it there. It's one block makes a huge difference. One block makes a huge difference of location, if you're going to do that. There's a lot of students out there that we haven't, like you said, we haven't tapped into. Mm-hmm. A lot of students that we're all located in the same place is a problem. And I think I'm tired of being in the same location. Unfortunately, but this is where I live. This is the closest place. But I think if I were to go out somewhere else, I knew that I wouldn't have a problem creating something out there because I already know how to do it. It's gotten overwhelming here in the LA area. It's very overwhelming. I congratulate people that have taken, for it to go out of here, to teach in other cities, and that they create, their stuff. I know Tucson is even really.
Oh, it's everywhere. But there's the major ones. Let's see. I would categorize you as a major group out here. And these are my opinion. I've said it all the time. Somebody asked me, what do you think they're like the most, like, who has attention? And it'd be you, Valpuesta, Marlene, which is down at Relámpago. Mm-hmm. And what is it, Carelis? I can't think of anybody really else. Because, that's what I would say. If I missed one, then like I'm sorry. But they have, and Manuel from, he does one.
Eterna Juventud.
Eterna Juventud. Those, I want to say those 5 groups have the most attention because they're the only ones that do social media. Let's be honest. They're the only ones. Everybody, like, Valpuesta's in a picture with somebody, I know who Valpuesta is. Even if the other one's a maestro, I don't know who that guy is. I know who Valpuesta is. Like, I see it. Like, I see you in a photo, I know who you are. I know your symbol, what you're doing. I know you have a competition. I know I will be signing up again for it. Like, like, you get me? Like, I know that if you want to get to Disneyland, you got to go to Relámpago. If you want to perform there and be paid to do dancing over there.
Oh, for the
parades,
season.
The Christmases. Yeah, I know where to go for that. Let's see.
And actually, I my kudos to Relámpago. I had never seen them perform. Mm-hmm. Never seen them perform. I saw them perform for the very first time. We did this thing with this thing they do in, I want to say February or March.
Mm-hmm. They do their company show.
Camila, and Camila helps him out.
Emilio? Or no?
Not Emilio. No,
because he's helping him out now too. He's there.
No. I'm not even talking about Relámpago. Anyway, there's this fundraiser that gets put together that Camila helped them. This is probably gonna be if they do it this year, their 3rd year. But we helped them out, and actually that's where I saw them perform at this high school out there, and we performed at the same gig that they did, and wow. My respects for them.
They have a great system to recruit dancers and to get dancers in there.
At the Orange County.
That OSHA?
Yeah.
Because I worked with them, I was part of their group for, I want to say 6 months, maybe less. And I left to the Army because I needed money.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't get no goddamn job. I need a car. I'm tired of my mom taking me places. I'm telling you. So I joined the military just literally to get a car. And I worked with them, and that's when I was just getting back into it because I wasn't really, my technique wasn't there. I wasn't super on it. I was just lazy about practicing and stuff like that. And I remember I went to there, and it was a studio. It was at high school dance room, and I was like talking. I'm like, so, like, how do you guys get this place? And they're like, oh, we're part of, it's a program here at OSHA that we have Folklorico. And I was like, oh, I'm like, did you all go to the school? And like, they're like, yeah, we all went to the school. I'm like, okay. So it was 80% gone to the high school. I'm pretty sure the numbers are different now because they're more popular. 80% have gone to the high school and just transferred over to the company. Yeah. And 20% were just randoms like me that showed up. And then I remember her daughter was, I think, in middle school, or 5th grade or 6th grade. Wow. Probably 6th grade. And she had her whole company of performers that were there that are the company now of the girls' side. And that's how they always funnel people. And now it's bigger. They've changed the name. I think they're a nonprofit status now. Yeah. They still have that foundation system of getting students in and rotating it in. And now she has her.
Teresita's teaching there.
Really? Terry?
Yeah,
Terry teaching what?
Something at over there.
Oh shoot, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Good for her.
But I mean,
she
amazing.
gets a lot of shows too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's really good. They have a good system. Whatever's working is working.
No, they should keep it up.
Well for them.
They should keep it up
very well. And again, you don't need, like I'm saying, you're going in the right pace. Because I have tons, but that whole system of just having 4 couples or 3 couples or 2 couples works. It works. And you get paid better. I'll tell you right now, because they'd rather pay for 2 couples than pay for 12 couples.
That's the system. The system with that's good. It just like I see. It's gonna be more so. I was telling one of the dancers is. I'm like, look, there's gonna be one day where one of you has to run this for these shows, because I will book 3 shows in one day. I've already done it. I've booked one or two. I think 2 shows the same day.
Different from an adult group to a kid's
No, I know. At the same time. Where I'd be like, okay, you guys are doing this one. You guys are doing this one. You're in charge of this. And I told my wife, I'm like, babe, we're not going to be dancing together pretty soon. Like, once we get big enough, I will double book and triple book. And I will send Carolina to different places. And then you guys will run the show. So you need to learn everything I do. You need to learn my camera setups because I'll have more cameras. You need to learn the media setup. You need to learn this and this. Because I wanted the ability to go on Facebook Live, on Instagram Live at the same time, and it's 2 different places. So somebody on Facebook is like, oh, look, they're live. They go on Facebook and they see the live and they're like, oh, that's cool. They're over there at Plaza. They go on Instagram. Oh, they're live there too? Cool. I'll just see it. Wait a minute. They're in Long Beach? Why are they in Long Beach? And then they see the 2 streams and they realize it's 2 shows going on at the same time. And that's this whole tactic mentality. To me, group shows are theater shows.
Right.
Like, that's the only reason to take a big group somewhere.
Right. Because they're theater shows.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right about that.
Unless they're kids, yeah, you can take more. But honestly, like, the way I look at things, it's just more tactically. When I see, I think there was for the parade, we did the Boyle Heights parade. And I saw...
Been there, done that. We did the very first one. We did the first one.
It's a good little parade. It's a little fun parade. You just go out there. And...
no, I went all out.
What was it? There was 2 group. Oh no, this one group. They had like 10 couples, bunch of girls. Couldn't see anything. It was pointless. Like, I was like, why do you have all those dancers? That's pointless.
What were they doing?
Huh?
What were they doing?
They were just doing Jalisco, I think. And so, I think it was Jalisco. But there are just so many people that it got lost. Because the audience was like amazed that there's so many people. But there wasn't a balance to it, in my opinion. There wasn't an excitement to it. I don't know. It's just weird. When you have too many people on stage, I feel like you lose something.
On stage?
People in front. Yeah, on the street or wherever.
We did Colima. We did Sinaloa.
Yeah, with how many couples though?
I had 6 couples doing Colima, and then I had my other group, my other 6 girls do Sinaloa, and I had them like intermittently.
Oh, see, they weren't doing that. They had all 12 couples.
Yeah, no,
so
I had
24 people all there. It doesn't.
No, I had like first song would play for Colima, and then we do Colima, and then the Colima would just stand there, and then Sinaloa would play, and then the Sinaloa.
That's different. They had everybody at the same time, so it was just a mosh pit of people. And I was just like,
there's got to be a sense of, come on, you have to make them understand what you're doing.
So I remember like telling my wife, I'm like, there was a East LA parade, there's the Boyle Heights parade, and there was, I can tell you probably like 2 other events going on. That amount of people, you should have had 4 shows going on at the same time, and you would have been able to hit tens of thousands of people immediately, distributing your marketing material, and all you had to do was just have leaders running that. And but that's my mentality of like, why is everybody here? This is a waste of time. You guys are wasting your time. My opinion though, is just like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. There's a lot of things I see, it just doesn't feel right. And I go on my gut, and 9 times out of 10, my gut is right. Because 6 and 6 makes sense.
Yeah.
Because people can see it, the couples, you get the excitement from it. The show keeps going.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's just my opinion. I'm just rambling now, guys.
No.
I'm just rambling.
It makes. I mean, like I said, I'll always do it once. We did the East LA parade. We did Sinaloa, all the way down. And I had my little ones sitting in it because I didn't want them to walk. And I even asked my dancers, I said, who's up for it? This is what we're doing.
Oh, I told him. I tried to convince my artistic director to let them wear tennies. Black shoes.
I did have them wear tennies. I didn't have them wear shoes. Oh.
No, I don't want them wear shoes.
Oh,
and she was like, no, they need to wear shoes. And I told her, I'm like, if you have an old pair of garbage Folklorico shoes, or it's something, I'm like, even if it looks like Folklorico shoes, wear it, because parades suck.
Fine. So I have tons of them there. But yeah, I told him no. To walk all that, I wouldn't put my dancers through that, because I see some of them have them wear their dancers. I said, are you crazy? But no, and they did machateo all the way down, and they did, Colima and with the hats, and Sinaloa.
No, I only had them do one dance.
It's all, no, and like I tell you, I have certain songs that obviously the flow of the skirts is important, especially when it's a parade. Machetes is visual, and it was fine.
It works.
Yeah, it worked out.
That's a new one. I haven't seen a lot of that. Colima with machetes.
You've never. That's
like
Samaripa signature.
Yeah, like I just recently just saw it, and I'm like, oh yeah, Colima with machetes. That's cool. I'm like, it sounds exactly like Nayarit, like almost. Because I never saw Colima. No one ever did Colima.
It's already burnt.
Like
it's burnt.
Well, I'm talking about pre 2000. How much?
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Nobody saw Colima. Not until Samaripa started the University of Colima.
Yep. No one would do it.
Nobody ever did it. But once he did it,
everybody did it.
And now you're talking about Comala, which is totally different as well.
And it always loses it because like Colima is one of those regions that's the skirt work with the circles, and that's where you see the technique of the girl who can do it and who can't. Because you go from these little, like I call them like T-Rex arms and like little baby hands, just right here, all in front, like just rotating and nothing in the back.
No, it has to be all the way in the back.
Oh, a lot of people don't do it.
All the way. That there's a right way and there's a wrong way.
Because I'll have dancers that tell me they came from like this one place. Oh yeah, I studied under this maestra. I studied under this maestro, and I'll see it. I'm like, well, clearly they just let you fall at the wayside because they thought you were never gonna perform. Like, because first you're not throwing the skirt in the back. You're not doing this. You're not doing the flats right. You're not hitting. You're gonna blow out your knee. Because you're not pounding with the right technique. You're doing it this, and the only thing where I'm just different stylistically is I don't like when the knee and the leg aren't fully aligned. Does that make sense? Or no? Like it's like this weird, like it's a very Colima style where the leg is like kind of like, how do you say, when you do Huizache, and you do the brushes. My interpretation of the brush is straight leg, completely straight, and going bouncing with the toe up and down. The other way that I've seen stylistically is not a straight leg, but bouncing it off with your knee and down, and keeping the quad straight, so you get this bent look. I've never liked it like that, but that was a preference I developed with. Emilio Rivas was the one that beat that out of me because I would dance like that. And he's like, no, you look lazy dancing like that. Don't dance like that. He's all like, if you want that leg to go higher, just bend your body lower, and then your hip will move and your leg will go out straight. And you see it. I think the only time I've actually really done it decently well is when I did Disneyland. There's a video out there, and I could get my legs parallel to the ground with speed that I can't even compete with right now. Like, not even close. But that's just my preference. That's the only thing. But other than that, everything I tell them, like, you're going to blow your knee if you do that. If you kick from the back and do these, like, over here and then kind of like here.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're putting pressure on this joint. Your vibration's not going through your whole body, and now you're gonna have a knee injury. And I'm like, look at me, no injuries, zero. Like no ankles, no this, no that. I think I almost twisted my ankle at practice, but since I do squats, I saved myself.
Yeah.
Because I went down, I did a step, and even my dancers were like, "Damn, you hurt yourself." I'm like, no, it's fine. I work out. Like I have ankle strength, which is something
A lot of dancers don't have.
Yeah, my maestra Juanita would tell me, she's like, you need to work on your ankles. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to hit like this because you're gonna twist your ankle if you don't.
Right.
So when you do a lot of these steps where you have to like throw your foot on the ground and straight ankle, which I can do, and a lot of I don't do that because I'm gonna hurt my ankle. I'm like, no, bro, you have no muscle there. You're not used to it.
Right.
And it's like you have to do it like this. You got to do it like this. Look at the weight change. Look how I distribute. Look where my body is. Yeah. A lot of nuances.
That's why I'm telling you where all that ballet stuff and the modern jazz stuff comes into play, because they learn how to use all of those muscles. Every single toe, ball of your foot, the arches, the heels, the everything.
That's why I do all that. It literally, I only do releves and demi-pieds to strengthen my dancers' quads and their ankles.
Yeah,
and that's it. Yeah. I'm like, this is what we're going to pull. The rest I don't need. I'm like, I just need this foundation for you guys. Man, it's fun. Not too bad.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Talked for a long time. We ranted. Do you guys have anything coming up for 2020?
On our books. We have, well, I'm happy to announce that I've been chosen as one of the instructors for Duff.
Oh, there you go. Not too bad.
So it's another one for the books.
Yeah.
And again, who would have known? So I'm looking forward to that in April, personally, and hopefully we'll be doing our showcasing for that. Cinco de Mayo comes around. I never know. When that comes up, May. And also we have one competition that we will do is Latin Mirage is one. I think our competition, I think I'm going to kind of slow it down for us to compete.
Because it's commercials. I call them the commercials.
The commercials?
There's competition and then there's commercials.
What is that? What do you mean?
So to me, a competition is the studio trains to win first place.
Oh.
Then there's studios where they just use the money to buy up all the time so you can see commercials of other stuff they do.
Oh.
And you're like, what the? This is a folklorico competition, right? Like, so I call them commercials. That's my thing. Like, you could tell which groups will want to win.
Right.
And you could tell which groups are doing a commercial to recruit people.
Yeah.
And that's like, I was joking about it when we did yours. I was sitting there with my parents, and they're like, the dad was like, why is there all this? He literally said, like, he's like, why there's all this fucking extra shit? Like, what's up with this? Like, and I'm like, no, bro, you gotta understand, this is a business move. These guys know they're not gonna win with these songs. So the songs they did here, that's to win. The extra songs here is to run a commercial. So you can recruit dancers and get more exposure for your group and this and that. And I'm like, bro, if like you took all that out, this competition would be like 2 hours, 3 hours.
Exactly.
But
in all fairness, there's a lot of people that they come with their material thinking that they're gonna win. But again, I don't even know what the results are going to be, because I don't know what the judges, even when we go to competitions, we never know what a judge is looking for. We don't know what they're going to be enlightened with that day.
It becomes opinionated.
What opinion they come with. And I've always said it. The first time I did a competition, and going off on another rant, the first time I did a competition, I was very hesitant. Hesitant because I was putting my work out there for the very first time. I was putting myself out there to be judged by my peers for the very first time. And with a little bit of humbleness, I didn't think I was good enough yet. at the time. And I want to say I put my work out there in 2010. No, wait a minute. Shoot, I can't even remember. 10? I want to say 2010. Okay. And I put in 2 pieces. Again, didn't know where I was going with it. I still do it to date. Mm-hmm. There's 2 pieces that I still do to date. And they're first place winners every single time. Mm-hmm. And when I was first of all surprised. And the reason I didn't want to do it is because I didn't want to expose the kids to a default or saying like, oh, I wasn't good enough. Or, we didn't win and it was the worst thing ever. Now my fear is because we've won so many first places mm-hmm. and grand championships and all this other stuff. And I tell them, be prepared to lose one day. Mm-hmm. You got to be prepared to lose one day because every time we do something, my opinion is that if I went here, I want to do this. I want to have here, I need to do more. Mm-hmm. And I need to do more. And that has been my...
Oh, you always push the envelope.
I've always pushed it. I've always pushed it. And I've told them, I said, if you're not ready to do more than what you've done before, then just, sit back. But they've always pushed themselves. Mm-hmm. And I know that because of the training that I've given them, I've been able to do that. They've always been able to step it up. But I was always afraid. I never did it. And I wanted to be prepared for it before I did it. Mm-hmm. But there's some people that are not prepared. But how do you give them, I know it's tough to get a comment when you give them the suggestions or the comments. It's hard to give people comments because everybody has a mentality of their own and how they mm-hmm. brought in their things or what they need to work on. And it's an opinion from a judge. Mm-hmm. And like when I get my judges, I try to get them, pretty much in a...
No, I noticed it was diverse. It was both ends of the... It was, what is it? I think Liz did it, right?
It was Liz, it was Rafa, and it was Citlali. And they were all graduates mm-hmm. from the University of Colima in danza escénica, which is all in the mm-hmm. dance aspect of different modern jazz and folklorico, and they were very well rounded this time around. Mm-hmm. And prior, it had ex-dancers, dancers from other companies, dancers from... or directors from but nobody that nobody knows. Mm-hmm. It's always been just people that have nothing to do with any of the other groups. I've always tried to get somebody that has, like, it's very biased. So I don't have that problem about...
No, it makes sense.
They belong to that group, they're going to be more, mm-hmm. Or they're going to belong to this group.
No, your judges were well versed, and when I got the comment cards and looked at everything, I already knew where we were going to stand and how we were going to do on my side. It was a self-awareness thing where I knew, I'm like, I'm going to put them in this because I know they want to do it and I know they need it, but they need that exposure because I knew we were going to get hit on technique. I knew we were going to get hit on fondeo. I knew we were going to get hit on song choice. I knew we were going to get hit. Like all these factors of where I saw things because I just knew and understood, but I needed them to get out there and do stuff so they could see, hey, dude, that's your competition. Like, right. And it'd be interesting because I have more creative control, full creative control now, right. of what I put on there. So the song choice and what I'm looking at and what I'm looking to put in is going to be interesting. It's just because I have this huge diverseness of dancers. So I know it's going to be between the 18 and 29. In category, or I'm pretty sure that's the average category of everybody. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, what is it? How stern I have to be with it, how much I have to push certain individuals to do more, stylistically how it needs to be done, and technique wise, because if I ran it the way I used to run when I used to teach before, like I ran the business side of it, like I would only put, I want to say, 3 of my dancers on stage. Sorry, dancers. Because I push them a lot and I throw a lot of different songs in them, but I need to create a show. And then after I create the show, I need to refine it. I need to market test it. I need to have them do shows. But if I ran it the way when I used to teach at Rosemary's, those little kids that, what is it? Those little, what is it? My little kids. What is it? I think I put a video up one time they did a show, and that was like their second show they've ever done at Olvera Street, the little boys. And I would literally tell Rosemary, I'm like, no, they're not ready. Not even close. I'm like, nope, they're not good enough. And I would tell them, like, you guys aren't ready to perform yet. Just crush their little hearts. Yeah. Now I think about it, when I was like 17, and I'm like, damn, that's soulless. But I would just be like, you need to do it right. You need to do it right. And then the end result was everything was in time. Everything was together. Everything was like on it and really, really strong. So now I have to replicate that same thing for the competitions, because I want to do at least 3 this year that are coming up. And I'm like, I wonder how they're going to handle it. Like, I wonder.
It's a good learning. It's a good learning process. I mean, because I tell you, even for as many times that we've performed and we get the comments, and I sit down with them and tell them. And the funny part about it is that when I coach them and I tell them, get ready because this is what they're going to say, and get ready because this is what they're going to say, and I'm warning you, and they choose to do the things, and when the comments come back on exactly what I told them, so this is what I'm talking about. How many times did I say this? I said, you need to be listening and be mindful of the things this is why I'm your teacher. This is why I'm your director. This is what I'm seeing.
It's a game of inches. It's like, it's the same category to where I thought we might win 3rd in one category, but then I didn't know that these girls were going to perform in that same category. So I was like, oh, we're not winning 3rd. We're getting 4th. Right. Like, I just knew.
Yeah. And you could pretty much self-scope things like that.
So I told them, like, I'm like, dude, we're going to lose by 2 points. 1 to 2 points. Guarantee it. I can see it because I'm not egotistical in the sense of like, oh, my dancers are the best.
Yeah, no. You gotta be realistic.
That. But they have to sit here, even though they know they're gonna lose. They have to sit for the whole goddamn thing.
Exactly.
Because you can't just stay there when you're gonna win.
That's important.
You gotta take your loss and then go back and then come back and do something about it.
I tell them that all the time. So you can't be out there on the phone. You need to come in here and you need to sit and watch everybody perform and check out your competition. I said, because you can't be egotistical. You have to be humble, and you need to know where you need to work. So anyways.
Oh, there's that tangent.
Yeah, there's that tangent. So anyway, like I said, and so May for the competition, June, it's all, well, May and June have a lot of seniors this year. July, maybe the Las Vegas competition, if anything. August, I already gave them several dates. August, I can't remember. Oh, August is we have our gala night. September, the county fair, we do it every year.
That one's moderately free, right? The 10th.
Oh yeah,
okay.
That one's.
I'll play for that.
And that one they will give you tickets. So that one's good. But you have to apply in April in order to
get into that.
I'll
apply in April. Right, a reminder.
And then we have Hollywood Forever this year again. Thank goodness for the 2nd year. And then November, December come around. So I don't have too many. I mean, yes, it's here and there.
Don't worry, mine are like 2 week notice, 1 week notice. So
yeah, and see, I've learned that with my people too, to give them stuff at the last minute. It just doesn't work.
Yeah,
I need to plan with them.
That's why I created the 20-minute set, because I knew that would happen, because just experience. And I would just tell Mom, like, you guys don't need to do it. I'm like, I'm doing it. I'll take 2 couples out there and do a good job than taking everybody.
Unfortunately, because of the stamping, they want to see the kids. They want to see all of these kids. Oh, we want to see the kids. We want to see the kids. Oh, okay, I'll try. But it's very difficult.
Oh, that's good.
But I mean, that's pretty much with that, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a long road. Um, I've learned a lot. I keep on telling you, I've learned a lot, um, and I don't mind helping people. I mean, I'm not looking to hoard all the information. It's there. It's out there. I mean,
no, I'm planning to put everything out. Like, that's my goal. That's why I'm working on it. I have one guy building me a tabla. I got lights. I just got these honeycomb lights. I have regular soft lights, umbrella lights, and then I got this black backdrop because I have to do it in my backyard. Let's be honest. So I'm literally
gonna. 90-minute show?
No.
Oh.
No. The 90-minute show's gonna be in a theater.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
No, I'm talking about putting everything out there, as in like, I plan to drop all the techniques I know, because every group I've gone to has told me, very few. I think you're one of the few that says you got it from this place or you learned it from here. You gave credit a lot of the times.
What do you mean?
For technique exercises and different like songs, or you say, "Oh yeah, we learned it with this," or "Oh yeah, we learned it with that."
No.
Like,
I'm gonna be very honest. A lot of the things, like the técnica raza, comes from Samarripa. I've learned that. I've done a lot of the creativity, a lot of the creation of a lot of the dances that I've done. They're all mine.
No, I'm talking about like that side. Like you cite things. Does that make sense? No. So like you said, the technique came from the raza de Samarripa and stuff like that. I've been with instructors where no, I made all this stuff up, or no, I did this, or no, I created this. If for 100% for everything, you sit there and you're like, bro, like I literally came from Susana's and she told me where this came from.
Yeah.
Or like, I know this is influenced by this.
Right.
And they try to bullshit you. Or I know that these songs have been done, they just reworked them.
Right.
And so I have all their special techniques in this brain where it's like, no, it didn't come from there. No, it didn't come from this. I remember somebody said that I was making things up, which I don't care. It just rolls off. But I just thought it was funny. I was making things up and that I should focus in this specific area. And I'm like, those techniques literally come from the University of Guadalajara from back in the 70s and 80s. And they're taught by my maestra who graduated from there. And that's what she worked on for beginners.
Right.
And that's what they did. What are you talking about making things up, bro?
See, that's what I'm telling you. There's a lot of things that a lot of people now, I've been seeing people bring up stuff that, shoot, I used to do back in the 70s. And I couldn't develop them or work with my students because they were not at that level. And now that they're at a specific level, now I can work it with them because everything takes a process. Nothing is done overnight. You cannot teach a huachapeado to a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old or not even a 10-year-old that has never taken the principles.
Oh, let's be honest, not even a 18, 19,
That's
20.
what I'm saying. Yeah. if it's even, and you're absolutely right, even people that are adults, they have to go through a certain process in order for them to understand what they're doing. And you can't teach them overnight. It takes a while. It takes a while. It doesn't get developed immediately. So come on.
Yeah, I always say, like, when we're talking, we're figuring out like the regions and stuff like that. I'm like, I know I have to do Jalisco. That I know I have to do first because everybody wants that. Understand that. And then I had to pick, like, I was conflicted between Sinaloa and Nayarit. And I was like, I think Nayarit is going to be the next big one. And I think it's one of the easier ones to do in a sense of complicated footwork, in my opinion. Like, it's very flat related. It's very heel toe related. It's not really like huachapeados. Like Veracruz, probably one of the hardest ones to do. The hardest region in speed, technique, everything you need. And I do not like I prefer not to do it. But Luis Miguel put a great song out there. So I have to do it because it just works as an opener. But it's one of the hardest regions. And if I can stay away from it as long as possible till the dancers have the technique to do it, that's what I'm going to do. And Sinaloa and Nayarit is probably harder than Sinaloa. because of just the different footwork.
Yeah, Nayarit is a lot more difficult.
So it's going to be, all I've done for the last 2 months is turns with the girls. Spotting.
The barrel
turns. Not even like the barrel turns, but just doing their regular, I call them penguins. Yeah, just turn, spot. And then from there you can see, okay, she's going to be doing 90. She's going to be doing 90. Because I only have 2 guys. Me and Antermo. That's it. I don't have any more. Well, I have Alberto, but he's in and out because he has work. So it's hard to teach him things. So I might have to just put him in a Jalisco set rather than the Nayarit set. And yeah, that's where you start picking apart the talent and seeing who's practicing at home, who's not. And I mean, I don't know what to do about it. So, but that's where I wanted to stay away from certain regions. The north is hard. North is hard.
Yeah. There's a lot of things. It took me a long time to put norte because norte is so that it's not, you can't say it's just norte. There's different Nuevo León, Chihuahua, Tamaulipas. And I'm telling you, I'm too trying to keep it the right way.
No, you're doing it right. No, I mean,
but it's tough. I am, but at the same time, I'm still tweaking it. But I try to keep it as best as possible because I need a break.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, yeah, we'll call it. Okay. That's it. Sorry. This went a little longer than I thought it would.
Yeah.
So that's cool that you have all this stuff. I think for us, we have Long Beach. We have about 3 shows in Long Beach coming up that they booked us last year. They loved us, so I guess we're doing it again.
Oh, very good.
And then I was telling you about the show that we're going to throw in end of February, early March. Maybe a little later, but I hope not. Other than that, yeah, it should be... We're going to turtle up, I think, this beginning of January. We're not going to do as many shows. I'm going to turtle it. I'm going to train them. I'm going to get through it. And then I'm just going to market test the sets to see how they do with audiences.
Right.
And then...
Yeah, well, January is always a good... Let's start training, learning. Well, for me, I usually try to do it in October, November, and a little bit into December because I know I'm giving them a break, and then start in full again in January, February, and then like in March, go and start doing everything. And now that we're going to get ready for Duff, well, I need to see what we're going to get ready for that. Look, I still have material.
Oh, that's good.
Not to worry about it too much.
Okay, guys, have a good one.
Thank
I'll see
you
everybody
very much. Sorry, I know it was a long one.
Yeah, usually the interview's enough long.
I know. Thank you very much, Daniel.
All right, I'll see you guys.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.